Hello my dear students of class 9. Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to start with chapter 3, permanent tissue. Plant tissue system, chapter 3, permanent tissue. What did we study in last lesson? Do you remember? Yes, we studied about meristematic tissue, the tissue that helps plant to grow in height and in width. The cells of meristematic tissue actively divide and thus helps the plant to grow in height and in width. Meristematic tissue helps the plant to grow in shoot as well as from root. Now we will study about permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is a plant tissue. The cell of this tissue do not divide. Yes, it do not divide. Then where these tissues come from? How do they originate? Such a mind-boggling question, right? The answer is very simple. When the meristematic tissue divides continuously and finally reach the stage of division, they attain maturity. And when they attain maturity, these tissues do not divide anymore. And then they differentiate into different parts and become permanent tissue. So we can say permanent tissues are matured meristematic tissue which lost their ability to divide any further. Permanent tissues in the picture you can see are of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissues are made up of single type of cells. Types of simple permanent tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Parenchyma. Yes, parenchyma is a type of simple permanent tissue. A few layers of cells form the basic packing tissue in plant. This tissue is parenchyma tissue. In the picture you can see parenchyma tissue have cells with very thin cell wall. These all cells are living. Cells are usually loosely packed in this tissue, means they have intercellular space, or we can say intercellular spaces are found in this tissue. Intercellular space means space in between the cells. In the picture also you can see there is a single large vacuole. The vacuole, the cells are having single, one in number, and they are very large. This tissue provides support to plant and also function to store food for the plant. In some case, children, we see in some situation it contains chlorophyll. Means in some case we see parenchyma contains chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis. And then it is called sclerenchyma. We find parenchyma tissue in soft parts of plants such as in cortex and in the pith. Next we come to collenchyma, the another type of simple permanent tissue. The flexibility in plant is due to another simple permanent tissue called collenchyma. In the picture you can see the cells are elongated and these cells are also living like parenchyma cells. The cell wall in the picture you can see is thickened at the corners. Yes, the cell wall is thickened at the corner, you can see clearly in the picture. There is very little intercellular spaces in this tissue. It allows easy bending in various parts of a plant like leaf, stem without breaking. We find these tissue in leaf stalks and below the epidermis of stems. Next we come to sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is another type of simple permanent tissue in plant. The cells of sclerenchyma is dead. Yes, the cells are dead and have thickened wall. You see the cell wall is very thick due to deposition of lignin. There is no intercellular space in this tissue. It provides strength to the plant parts. It is the tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. You all have seen husk of a coconut as well as walnut shells. These are what? These are sclerenchymatous cells. Next we come to complex permanent tissue, the another type of permanent tissue. Now complex permanent tissue are made up of many types of cells. It is also called conducting or vascular tissue. Types are xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem helps in conduction of water, minerals and food throughout the entire body of plant. So it is known as conducting tissue or vascular tissue. Xylem tissue and phloem tissue. You can see in the picture, xylem carries water and minerals from roots to other parts of the plant, to the leaves especially, and phloem carries food prepared in the leaves to various parts of the plant. Now the function, when we talk about the function of xylem tissue, it can be considered to be similar to the pipelines of a building that carry water to different floors of the apartment against gravity. So as the xylem tissue, it carries water from root to other parts of the plant, especially to the leaves. Now here in the picture you can see the cells of xylem tissue. They are tracheids, vessels, fibers, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Yes, let us first discuss about these cells in details. Xylem tracheids are made up of elongated cells. In the picture you can see how water is traveling or conducting through the xylem vessels and the position of these tracheids, vessels, fibers and parenchyma in xylem tissue. Now, xylem tracheids are elongated dead cells with large cavities. They are placed end to end, forming a long tube. The cell wall is very thick due to deposition of lignin in these tracheids. They provide mechanical support and also helps in the transportation. Next you look at xylem vessels, which is also known as tracheae. They are long tube-like structures meant for transporting water and dissolved minerals. They are vessels, you can see vessels like structure. They are also elongated cells and are placed end to end, forming a long tube through which water and dissolved minerals can transport. Next we come to xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma are living tissues or living cells. They serve for the storage of food and also helps in the conduction of water and dissolved minerals. Xylem fibers are dead sclerenchymatous cells. Their main function is to provide mechanical support to the plant. Yes, look at the function of xylem. Here is how water passes through the xylem vessels from roots to other parts of the plant. Now phloem. Phloem is a food conducting tissue in plant. It provides a passage for the downward movement of food in the leaves to various parts of the plant, as well as to other parts of the plant also may be present at the upward. Now the phloem cells, you can see sieve elements, or we can also say sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. You can see the location of these cells in the picture. Sieve tubes. Sieve tubes are elongated cells made up of elongated cells. They are placed end to end and form a long tube through which food can pass. The manufactured food can pass from leaves to various parts of the plant. Companion cells. They are closely placed with sieve tube cells and they help in the function of the sieve tube cells. Phloem parenchyma is concerned with storage of food materials. Phloem fiber provide mechanical support to the plant. Now function of phloem. Phloem conducts or provide as a passage for the movement of food manufactured in the leaf to all parts of the plant. Food that is being prepared in the leaves are conducted to all parts of the plant through phloem. Today up to this, thank you children. Read the chapter thoroughly.